Hi, my name is Bob Gallagher. I'm the mayor of the city of Bettendorf, Iowa. Today is Friday, February 18th, 2022. Welcome to City Hall Council Chambers. We're here today with our city attorney, Chris Curran. Chris, welcome to the mayor's message.
Thanks, Bob. It's great to be here. Great to talk about this exciting topic, and appreciate it.
Well, hopefully we'll find it exciting. Every 10 years, the United States of America has a census, and as a result of the census, lots of things change. And one of the things that may have changed for you is whether you're in which ward you are, or maybe in which precinct you are, and you'll need to know that come time to vote. So we've invited Chris here to tell us a little bit about the process and how we in Bettendorf make decisions that will affect where you're placed in what ward. So Chris, tell us about how we get the information from the state, what really happens, and what do you have to wait for until you've got your opportunity to make some decisions?
Sure. Well, thank you. So first, as you said, it starts with the census. Every 10 years, we get the population numbers from the U.S. Census Bureau. And this year, we were lucky enough to have the city grow by over 17%. So that does affect the ward and the precinct where they're located and how big they are. But as you said, it does start at the state level. So the state takes the census numbers and they draw the congressional and the state legislative districts. And that will inform us where our wards and precincts go. So it was a little delayed this year.
Sure.
So we were sort of under the gun to get all of the all of our new maps made in time.
So they've got a time frame for us.
They do have a time frame. It was delayed a little bit because I think the state went through a couple of iterations
Correct.
of their lines. But once those were drawn, we get the information. We have some software. We've got some talented folks in our community development office. They did a lot of good work in trying to determine where the growth was and where our wards will be. So we know that the bulk of the growth in the city was up in the northeastern corner, the Ward 5, Ward 4. So we take the number. We know that our population was, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was 39,102.
Yeah,
I think it was probably 40.
I do too.
But we know, so
Got a little inside bet on the 40. I thought we were going to get to 40.
So with that number, we know that the ideal ward size is just short of 8,000, 7,800.
Because we divided by the 5 wards.
Yep. So you know that that's the number you're shooting for. You can deviate 10% and still be legal, but we want it to be as close as possible. So I think our deviation is less than 2%.
Perfect.
So we have that number. There are some other standards that we have to comply with. It has to be compact as possible, contiguous. We can't be, having crazy lines.
Sure.
But we basically took what was there before and we kind of moved up where the growth was.
It looks to me like you're trying to stay on major thoroughfares. So lots of this is divided by things like 18th Street or 53rd Street, some, more heavily traveled roads, so it kind of makes some geographic sense.
Exactly. So we took those, we used the software, we know exactly where people are, and then we start using that, as you said, the major thoroughfares, sometimes it might be a creek, but it's logical, makes logical sense, and then we start drawing these lines. And frankly, there wasn't a lot of, it was pretty clear where the lines had to be.
Sure, so you're kind of moving, for instance, Ward 2 got a little bit bigger, Ward 1 a little bit bigger, and Ward 5 maybe a little bit smaller as it had so many more people, but you're moving these lines on a map that may now affect where folks at home are going to vote, whether they're in a different precinct or maybe even now a different ward. You could have been in 5th and now you're in 4th. So those are the things that we ought to make sure people know about.
Absolutely. So certainly which ward you're in will determine who your alderman is,
sure,
and who will represent you. The precinct is where you will vote, and some of the precinct rules is that it can't cross legislative districts. So you can't have a precinct that is in 2 wards. You can't have a precinct that is in 2 state congressional districts. That sort of thing.
So everybody at that voting place will vote for the same state reps, and then those who represent us in Washington as well.
Correct.
Okay.
So another rule that we have to follow is that a precinct can't be more than 3,500 in number. Okay. But there's no minimum number that a precinct can be. we now have 3 precincts in every ward, which was not the case before.
Right.
But that is the case moving forward. So so we took all of that. We worked with our the auditor's office. So there's lots of review. We take a look at it. We work with the auditor's office. We work with city council after we work with the auditor to pass the map.
Right.
And then it goes to the Secretary of State, which does their review, and they might have some little technical changes as well. So it's really a multi-step and multi-layered review.
Lots more work
quite
for
a process.
You. Once every 10 years.
But it is exciting, and certainly, as you said, it's important because it says who represents you, where do you vote, and so all of that, we'll be getting out that information to make sure that everybody knows, and you'll be talking more about that. And the auditor's office as well is, very, that's a key part of what they do.
So how do you find out where you vote and what precinct you may be, in what ward you may be? We look at our website. We've got a brand new updated website. We're going to walk you through that process. It's very, very easy. We're going to do that here for you today. But we also have these maps on the website so you can kind of take a look where your neighbors are, where that line might be between your ward and the ward next to you. You'll find out who might represent you. Obviously, we have 2 council members at large, but we have 5 different council members who are elected from these divisions we call wards. So if you want to find out in what precinct you vote or in what ward you have been scheduled by what Mr. Curran talked about here today, we're going to do that by going to our website. Now, the precinct location for the actual location for the voting is determined by the auditor's office. We may not have that information as to where you will go to vote, but we're going to tell you in what precinct you vote. So first we're going to go to our website. That is at bettendorf.org. Site pops up. You go to government, down to mayor and council, because that's what the wards and precincts will determine. You're going to come down and go to, whoop, I went past it, ward address and information. Click on that. Then in the search box, we're going to put 1609 state, which I just tried just a minute ago. We'll search that. That's where city council chambers are located, where you are today. You can determine that you're on Route 2 for your garbage, bulky waste, and recycle collection. That's on a Monday. You can determine your school district. You're in the Bettendorf Community School District, Mark Twain Elementary School, and the location. And the ward information that we talked about today. Ward 1, Precinct 1, which is on the map as well. So, when you get to your general election, you can go to the Scott County Polling Places website, and this will be up to date if it's not already, and you can determine where you are. If you're in Bettendorf, 1-1, which is where City Hall is located, Ward 1, Precinct 1, you will be voting at the Quad City Realtor's office, 1900 State Street. That's likely not to change in the next election, but it could, so we'll want you to come back and check again. You can pre-register, or you can register on election day to vote here in Bettendorf. This is the complete list from the auditor's office of where you might vote. So if you're B52, you're going to go to the Surrey Heights Fire Station, 5002 Crow Creek Road. So, thank you very much for joining us today on the Mayor's Message. Have a wonderful weekend, and hopefully you'll visit our website. It's a great new tool to provide great information to you on all the things that are happening within the city. We hope you enjoy it. Take care.